Hi, my name is Biyi Bandele, and wherever you are, whoever you're with, and whatever it is you're doing, Entertainment News is wishing you a very happy Easter holiday. It is my pleasure to give you a special Easter treat, beginning with a story from the highly anticipated Half of a Yellow Sun movie, which is a screen adaptation of the Orange Prize-winning novel by Chimamanda Adichie.
After a successful outing on the Oscar award-winning 12 Years a Slave, Academy Award-nominated actor Chiwetel Ejiofor brings his artistic prowess to Nigeria, a place he partly calls home. He worked with another British-Nigerian director, Biyi Bandele, to create a loop-sided version of Chimamanda Adichie's Orange Prize-winning book, Half of a Yellow Sun. The film premiered in Nigeria recently to the relief of the cast and crew members.
I feel like someone who has gone into the boxing ring and fought many rounds, but it's great, you know. We were in development for nearly 6 years and then in post-production for a year.
It took 7 years to create a movie that is less than 120 minutes. The actual shooting must be quite an experience.
We'll get something better soon.
It was not an easy shoot, but it was memorable. You know, I wouldn't exchange that experience for anything else. It was tough. We shot most of it in and around Calabar and in and around a village not far from Calabar called Creek Town.
We want your passports!
How can I leave my children and run to safety?
We'll be fine.
Why are you running? Where are you running to? Mama, people are fleeing.
It's dangerous.
The Creek Town took us and wiped the floor with us. It's a very beautiful place, you know, but it's really hot and really humid, and you know I mean it looks amazing in the film, you know, but it was every day when we were shooting in Creek Town, we would leave the hotel in Calabar and travel by water, and on your way there, it's the most beautiful scenery you can imagine. And then we would spend the entire day shooting in Creek Town, and at night coming back, it was like completely knocked out, you know.
I feel as if I have been dropped into something that I don't entirely understand.
The story adopts the Nigerian Civil War as a backdrop to tell a tale of love. The troubled period had a personal touch for the BAFTA award-winning lead cast, whose grandfather experienced it firsthand.
Well, I had a personal connection to all of the things that happened during the Biafran War. My family, my grandfather, and my grandparents, and their struggles in the Biafran War, and their sort of my mother as well, who is about 13 at the time of the war breaking out, and so I'd always grown up with this knowledge of the conflict, and so when Chimamanda's book came out, and my interest was sparked by that as well, that it felt like a very interesting and almost unique in cinema perspective on African history and Nigerian history specifically. So, you know, I wanted to make a large film in Nigeria, and this was a film that had an epic quality to it, and so it just felt like the right. All the things lined up, and so it felt like the right thing to do.
It's happened. There's been a coup.
What's happening in Lagos?
This is our beginning.
Chiwetel is, you know, he's one of the most gifted actors of his generation, and what people don't know about him is that he was always in Nigeria quite often. His grandfather passed away not so long ago, but when his grandfather was alive, they were very close, and he would fly to Enugu, and he spent a lot of time with his grandfather. I basically cast the best actors that were out there for each role, and anyone who has seen the movie will agree with you, whether they like the movie or not, that there's some incredible performances in the movie.
I feel as if I have been dropped into something that I don't entirely understand.
Nobody dropped you into anything.
I mean, I play Odenebo, who's a professor at the University of Nsukka, and he is described variously as a kind of revolutionary. He has his own moral ambiguity in terms of his relationship with Olana, played by Tandy Newton, and he's a character that, through the course of the film, learns a lot about being a revolutionary and what the real cost of that is. Obviously, when those ideas become reality and conflict, and the prices are paid, and also in terms of his personal relationships and the mistakes he makes with that. So it's a character and a person who represent a time and a place in a country, going through an extraordinary growing and learning experience, and that's what's so great about playing somebody like Odenebo with that art, and that you sympathize with him and you are frustrated with him and you want to slap him sometimes, and you want to hold him sometimes, and that's it's a great character and a great journey to go on.
I can make that, sir. Let me make the rice and you get the chicken from the staff club.
Artful negotiation. All right, you make the rice. Did you go to school?
Standard 2, sir. But I learn everything fast.
Standard 2? How long ago?
Many years now, sir. But I learn everything very fast.
Why did you stop school?
My father's crops failed, sir.
Why didn't your father find someone to lend him your school fees?
Half of a Yellow Sun creates an hybrid of Hollywood and Nollywood. Maybe this can catalyze the growth of the Nigerian industry.
Happy Independence. The British Niger production. Some of the money was raised in the UK. Most of the money was raised here in Nigeria. I'm Nigerian. Chimamanda is Nigerian. Chiwetel is Nigerian. I mean, he was born in the UK, but his parents are both Nigerian. No one can dispossess him of his Nigerian nationality. You can't, and then we had a crew that was made up of people from all over the world. I had some actors who are not Nigerian.
We'll get something better soon.
I like to think of this film as a way as a Nollywood movie, and that my desire is to continue to expand and internationalize the process of making films in Nigeria specifically, in Africa generally. I think there's so many great stories here, and I think it's these extraordinary Nigeria, obviously for personal reasons, is a place that I love, but also so many countries in Africa that I think are have extraordinary histories, extraordinary stories that I think would be wonderful to represent in the West more.
Nothing will happen to you.
I know nothing will happen to me. I just really want you to marry me. We should marry. No longer makes sense. Never made sense.
We'll have to take wine to my father then.
For a dignified lot, the Yoruba are rather jolly, as well as being first-rate lickspittles, and the Ubu are...
surly and money-loving. Hello, Graham.
Meet Kainene Azobia, Chief Azobia's daughter. Kainene is a summa cum laude graduate of Yale and an Oxford graduate to boot. Kainene, this is Susan Grenville Pitts from the British Council.
How do you do?
And this is... I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch... Richard Churchill. Now, I want to speak to you. Hello?
Interpreting an already acclaimed body of work for the screen can be great if successful, but it can also cause a director nightmares if not well received. Biyi says he wasn't under any pressure interpreting Chimamanda's novel.
In the 90s, I took Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, which was at the time already a classic, and it took me nearly 4 years to actually get producers in the UK who were interested enough to actually put their money behind it, and we turned it into a very, very successful stage play. We traveled all over the world, which did incredibly well. I wasn't thinking when I was adapting it, God, this book is very popular. What is that person going to think? My brain doesn't, unfortunately or fortunately, it doesn't work that way. The way I go about things is I read a book. If I completely fall in love with it, I don't care whether it's known by a million people or by nobody. I'm just going to be thinking of the mechanics, the logistics of making it work in the new medium. If I'm, in the case of Things Fall Apart, it was theater. In the case of Humphrey Edison, it was moving it to. And so that's all. That was all that was on my mind.
Doesn't deserve you,
Leave my son alone. Go and tell your fellow witches that you did not see him.
Nothing! I want you to stay away from my house! Stay away!